Hello students, we are learning lesson number 9, laws of force and laws of motion, and already we have learnt about what is force and what is frictional force. Now when I have explained you about frictional force, I have explained that when the pushing force and the frictional force, both of them are means when the body starts motion and both of them are not increasing or decreasing, either of the forces, all the forces remains constant, then the body will maintain its state of motion. It will be in motion. So if an unbalanced force is applied on the object, there will be change in the speed of an object, and if the unbalanced force is not applied, then the body will maintain its state of motion. So based on this, our next topic is Newton's first law of motion. According to the first law of motion, an object in rest will remain in rest. An object in motion will remain in motion until an unbalanced force acts on it. That means to change the state of motion, the state of rest or state of motion, moving state of the moving body, always an unbalanced force is required. If the unbalanced force is not applied, then the object do not change its state of motion. So this property of the object to resist any change in their state of motion. State of motion are of two types, already I have told you that the body may be in rest or body may be moving. These are the two states of motion. So all the objects resist any change in their state of motion, and this property of the object to oppose the change in its state of motion is called inertia. Any object always opposes the change in its state of motion. This is called inertia, and Newton's first law of motion is also called inertia. Now why it is called law of inertia, this can be explained by the following examples. Now we see, suppose a book is lying on the table, then it will remain at rest for years until it is pushed with the unbalanced force. So an object at rest wants to remain at rest. This is the first part of the law. The second part is can be explained, the law of inertia can be explained by two examples. See, when a car is in motion, then it will remain in motion until the brakes are applied. That means that when a moving body, until the unbalanced force of the brake is applied, the car is not going to stop. So the car in motion will remain in motion until the unbalanced force of brake is applied on it. So body at rest will remain at rest, that is book at rest will remain at rest on the table until it is pushed with the unbalanced force, and body in motion will remain in motion. The car in motion will remain in motion until the brakes, that is the unbalanced force, is applied on it. This is the first law. Can be explained by these two examples. We can give also some more examples, like if a person is standing in a bus and the bus starts moving all of a sudden, or you suppose you are sitting on the back seat of your friend's bike and all of a sudden the bike starts the engine and the bike comes in motion. So what will happen? We will lean backward. Why we lean backward? Because the lower part of our body is touching the seat of the bike. So the lower part is at rest. Now all of a sudden when the bike starts, then the lower part shows inertia. It wants to come to motion. So lower part shows inertia, but the the lower part comes in motion. It comes in motion because the bike comes in motion, but the upper part shows inertia. Upper part of the body shows inertia, and it wants to remain in its same position. So it leans backward. It leans on its original position, and the lower part goes in motion. We lean backward and the lower part goes forward. This can be explained by the example of the bus also. In the bus, when we are standing and all of a sudden the bus comes in motion, so we lean backward because the lower part of the feet of the person is touching, it is contact with the bus surface, so the feet comes in motion, but the upper part of the body shows inertia. It do not want to come in motion and it leans backward. That means it remains in its original position and the lower part goes forward. So it seems that the body is leaning backward. The opposite thing can happen when the person is standing in a moving bus and the driver of the bus applies brakes. Then the lower part of the body comes in rest because it is in contact with the surface, but the upper part still wants to be in motion because it is showing inertia, so it leans forward. This is the explanation of the first law. You can explain it like this. You have to write the statement and explain with examples. What is momentum? Momentum means explain the factors on which it depends. Let us define momentum. Momentum is the product of mass and velocity. It is the product of mass and velocity. So symbol of momentum is P is equal to m into v. So if it is m into v, unit of m is mass, unit of v is meter per second, unit of m is kg, m is mass, so it is kg, and velocity is meter per second. So SI unit, International System of Unit of Momentum, is kg meter per second. Let us explain what is momentum, the factors affecting momentum. As momentum is the product of mass and velocity, so momentum is affected by mass as well as momentum is affected by velocity. Let us take the example that momentum is affected by mass. When a car and a bicycle moves with the same velocity, then the effect of force felt by the car is more than the bicycle. That is, suppose you are crossing a road and a car and a bicycle and you are trapped between both of them, and you have to choose that which side I should go, either towards the bicycle to be fallen by the bicycle or to be crashed by the car. Definitely we are going to jump towards the bicycle because effect of force felt by the bicycle will be much lesser as the mass is less. So momentum depends on the mass. Then force, that is, hence momentum shows the effect of the force. What is momentum? It shows the effect of force, because the effect of force felt by the bicycle or the car is depending on the mass. Similarly, momentum also depends on the velocity. That is the second factor on which the momentum depends. It depends on the velocity of the object. Say, for example, suppose a bullet. Okay, bullet which is used in the guns or pistols. This bullet you are throwing with your hand towards a person. Then throwing with the hand, it will not harm the person. But if the same bullet is shot with a gun towards the person, it can kill the person. Why? Because the bullet, the mass is very nominal. It is very less. But the bullet is having more momentum in the case of if it is shot by the gun, because it will be shot with more velocity. While if it is thrown with the hand, then the velocity of throwing will be less. Hence, force is related to change in the momentum and the time taken for it. That is, how the momentum is changing depending on the mass or velocity. So force depends on mass and velocity, and also force depends on the time taken for it. That if the increase in the product of mass and velocity, if it is in lesser time, then effect of force felt will be more. This can be explained that how the time factor affects. For example, when the karate expert breaks an ice slabs with the hand, then time taken by him to hit the ice slabs is very less. In very less fraction of time, it will go on hitting again and again and again. So if the time taken is less, then the momentum will be more. That will be more. That is, effect of force felt will be more. And if suppose he goes in slow motion and he hits like this, then the effect of force felt will be less. Okay. So effect of force felt depends on the momentum, and momentum depends on mass and velocity. And if time taken to change the momentum is less, then the effect of momentum will be more. Thank you for today. We'll be meeting in the next video.